Oh my. Oh my.
You are now tuned in to the Revolution Radio Show.
Yo, what it is and what it do? You're officially tuned into the Revolution Radio Show on 102.3 FM, KCAA in the Inland Empire, worldwide on the NBC Radio Network and on the iHeartRadio app, and on Spotify, and on Facebook, and on YouTube, and I'm sure like 3 or 4 or 5 other places. As always, I'm your boy Jay Love, aka Uncle Jiggy, and I'm joined by my man Ferran the Statesman. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. How you doing, man?
Doing good. It's Hump Day.
It's Wednesday.
You know what I mean? It's Wednesday, the 19th, 2021. And how's your day been, man?
It's good, man. I'm at the apartment chilling and just laying low, man.
I feel you. Sorry I couldn't make it yesterday, man. For those of y'all who don't know, I was actually on set yesterday. I was getting my Will Smith on, and so it ran a little bit longer than I expected, but it was cool. It was a cool experience. I'm shooting a campaign for the city of LA and for MetroLink, and so I'm like, basically the campaign. The best way I could explain it is, you know, the Progressive commercial with Flo. Yes, you know, like I'm like the Flo of this particular campaign.
Really?
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Like it was weird getting star treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm so used to, you know, being Jay and everyone around me who knows me be like, yeah, whatever, Jay. Like whatever.
Right.
Then like, you know,
makeup.
Like, you know, people like pampering me and stuff. I was like, you know, man, y'all gonna send me home to reality, and I just got, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just hilarious, man. And then like people, because we shot at Union Station.
Oh,
and
cool.
You know, so but you know, it's a working train, so like people were still coming and going. Like we had a whole train to ourselves, but it was just funny because, you know, people were like, you know, taking videos of me and, you know, pictures, and I could hear them going like, yo, who's that? And so I was going, it's just Jay. It's just don't worry about it. It's just Jay. It's no big deal. It's just Jay. You know what I mean? But it was hilarious, man.
I gotta get some more information about these careers you got. People, we're kind of like strangers, just so y'all know. So I'm like, commercial. What does this dude doing? Wait a minute. Who is this dude?
Yeah, no, it was funny, man. Like it's a cool experience because it's gonna be like they said anywhere from a 2 to 5 year campaign, right?
Really?
Yeah. So, but it was just hilarious because, you know, I don't know. It's just funny, man. Because
you can't talk about it right now. We know.
I can't say too much about it, but I can just say that it was a really cool experience. I enjoyed it. It was hilarious. I can't say this. I was a train conductor, so you're gonna see me in costume. I was a train conductor, and it was just funny.
Say no more.
I will say this though. I want to say, because I always laugh at the things that people believe on the internet, right?
Right.
So on purpose. So you might want to follow me because you'll be entertained if nothing else at J Love Official on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. So I was posting, right? Well, you know, because it looks cool, like all the cameras and everything on set, right? So I go, watch this. So I did a whole little story, and I was like, yo, allegedly, you know me and my allegedlys, right? So I was like, allegedly, I'm about to do a scene with Will Smith. Or it could be Will Jenkins. I don't know, one of the two, one of them. But it's about to go down. Just left it at that. Nobody heard Will Jenkins. Right? Dog, my DMs blew up. Jay, congratulations.
No, not the congratulations.
Yes. Everybody like, we knew you do it. Tell Will we said what's up. I'm like, don't believe everything you hear on the internet, man. And I gave y'all the out to be like, Jay's silly, man. Look at Jay. Because I said Will, or it could be Will Jenkins. I don't know. One of them guys. And they chose to just hear Will Smith. So I haven't responded to nobody.
No,
I'm letting them just run with it. You know what I mean? People hitting me. Like even my nephew was like, "Yo, what up, punk?" Like, "Oh, you want to hit me now? Now I ain't heard from you in months, and now you okay? I see what's up. I see you, nephew. What up, punk? You doing big things, Unc? You do." I'm like, it's like, okay, I see you, nephew. I see. So hopefully none of the people is listening, right? So I'm not gonna answer nobody. Like I'm not answering nobody. I'm just gonna change the subject.
You gotta listen, people. Listen, and you gotta read.
Oh my God, man, it's hilarious, dude. And I even put hashtag allegedly. Like
And
I put yes, and still people was on the Jay, you doing big things. You do it. You know what I mean? But like I said, it is a cool thing. It just wasn't with that guy. I'm not even gonna say his name. Right. So you know what I mean? So Eric, thank you. I will still take your congratulations, Eric. I appreciate you. It just wasn't with that guy. You feel me? It wasn't with that guy. You know, but it was just funny, man. But it was cool. It was a cool experience. I'm looking forward to the whole campaign because I guess it's supposed to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so, but it was just funny.
I gotta interview you on my show. Shoot.
You know, and then even at that, like, because I always joke that people like fluff more than anything, right? So I got more like views, more likes on that than like when I be like, you know, that God has a plan for your life.
Oh yeah, they don't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear none of that. They want to be like, you know what I mean? Just we should just love.
They be like, next.
You know what I mean? We should bring the world together with love. No, you don't. No, none of that. Okay. Lights, camera, action. Yeah, that's gonna go through the roof. But okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
wow.
Just, yeah, man, it's hilarious.
Welcome to the jungle.
Hey, you know, like, man, it is. But at least I'm not this dude. I got to bring up because you know me with the news. I got to always jump in with a couple of news stories, right?
For sure.
But apparently, New York's Attorney General, right, is opening an investigation into the taxes of the Trump Organization. Actually, the CFO. So the New York Attorney General's office has opened a criminal tax investigation into top Trump Organization officer Allen Weisselberg, increasing the legal pressure on the longtime aide to former President Trump. So it's funny, man. I guess here's my thing. I just find all of this stuff is like comical to me.
Yeah.
Right. Because whether you're a Trump supporter or not, either way, right. The thing is that what people don't, and we talked about this a little bit the other day in terms of like, if you're in the public eye, like, you know, there's certain things that come with it. Right.
Yeah.
And so dude opened himself up to it. Like the more you criticize people, the more it's just that thing. I say it all the time, whether you want to call it reap what you sow, karma, what goes, you can name it 1,000 different names.
Yeah, give it a label.
But it's all the same thing. What the energy you put out there is going to come right back at you like a ball to the face. You know what I'm saying? And so the energy this dude put out there for so long, like he doesn't get to be like, because you ever notice that like Obama looks like he's happier than he's ever been in his life?
Yeah.
Like him and Michelle rode off into the sunset, like, oh, we done with that job.
We're done.
Yeah.
Back to normal.
Like they seem so happy. Every time you see them, they smiling. You know what I mean? And it's almost like when he was in office, like he got older, right? Have you ever seen those juxtapositions? Yeah. And now it looks like he got younger. You know what I'm saying? Like he got, you know what I mean? He's in better shape. Yeah, like he's like, hey, you know. And so it's just funny, man. Like this dude can't ride off into the sunset because there's all these lingering things, right? Because just his personality was so aggressive.
I thought they was going to arrest him when he walked out the White House, though. For real.
You know what? I did think that too, though. I thought that was like a legit.
I was like, oh, he about to get it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, I said all that to say this. Hey, shout out to Donald Trump, man. Just shout out, bruh. You proved that anything is possible. Like any little kid in the U.S. can believe they're gonna be president because you did it,
man. So, they knew what they was doing when they pulled him in there.
Do you understand? Because of him, I'm qualified to be president. I'm qualified to be president of the United States because of this dude
and every other actor.
So I just want to say shout out Donald Trump, man. I'm not a bad dude. I don't hate the guy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. You know what I mean? I hope this stuff works out.
I understand that he was the front anyway, so I'm not mad or surprised of how people view him.
You know,
Let's set him up.
the next thing I'll talk about before we get into our topic for today is I just want to again bring up, like, I really pray and hope that there's a ceasefire in Palestine. And so it's just crazy because when you look at it, and I don't know if it was you that said this, but I was talking to somebody about this, that it's like, it's kind of the when you look at Palestine and Israel, right? Israel's like the 5-year-old little brother, right? I mean, not Israel, Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
And Israel's like the 16-year-old brother, right? And so the little brother comes and, kicks the big brother, and like, right? But at the end of the day, the truth is the little brother can't hurt the big brother. So if the big brother decides to, like, put, five knuckles in his chest,
right,
it's a wrap, right? Like, it don't matter, I get it. Maybe your little brother's irritating to you, and maybe this is too simple, right? But dog, Palestine and Israel has, if not the greatest, definitely one of the greatest missile defense systems in the world, if not absolutely the top.
Right.
We give them, and when I say we, the United States, we give them at least $6 billion a year in support militarily, right? Mm-hmm. We give them weapons, like all kinds of stuff, right? And so when you look at even like the injury and death toll the difference between Israel and Palestine, right? It's like night and day, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that to say this: no one wins at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, no.
There's no win. And no matter what side you choose to take, some people are choosing to take the side of Israel, some people, the Palestinians, but no matter what side you choose, there's no winning, right? It's just devastation. And so I pray that legit there is a ceasefire, because they are talking about it. The UN has called for it, obviously. But so I just want to remind y'all, those of you who are people of prayer and people of faith, let's agree that I know that it's a cliche to say peace in the Middle East, but man, for real, if ever there needed to be
today, for sure,
so I just wanted to say that real quick. But having said that, we're going to be talking about the military today. So I got to give my quick little intro military story, because I'm not qualified. Farron's going to take over, and then I'm going to step back because so I do come from a military family. My grandfather was a decorated World War II veteran. You know what I'm saying? Several of my uncles and cousins, and my younger brother. Well, if you talk to him, he's still a Marine, because according to him,
they always a Marine.
Yeah, you're always a Marine. You're a Marine till you die, and then your corpse is a Marine. You know what I mean? Like when his wife was pregnant, he had her running because according to him, the baby in her stomach was a Marine in training. This is real stuff, man. I was like, you can't make your pregnant wife run, dog. It's like, no, she's about to give birth to a Marine. Well, first he said at MIT. I was like, hey, what's at MIT? Your baby gonna go to MIT? Like, you got he's like, nah, stupid, a Marine in training. I was like, oh. I mean, then I had 2 daughters, right? And but still, his daughters were like, no, my daughter, he would have them doing push-ups, like, you're a Marine in training, but they're girly girls, right? So it's just hilarious, man. And wow. So the funny thing is that even though growing up I did and still do admire, people who serve, like, so for you, I've never told you this, but thank you for your service. And I always, and I thought about joining the military, right? Mm-hmm. But the reason I didn't, and this is what I told, because my mother had to talk with me, right?
Oh, okay.
And it was shortly after, it was literally like days after 9/11, right? Oh. And my mom called me and was like, and all just riled up. Are you signing up? And I said, what are we signing up for, Mom? Right? She said, to go get him. I said, who we gonna get? I'm down. Who we gonna go get? Right? And she was like, the terrorists that did this. I was like, what'd they do? Mom, tell me what they did, right? So we had this whole conversation. She was like, I don't know what your problem is. You should have joined the military a long time ago. You might learn some discipline, right?
Oh, Mom.
And I said, Mom, let me have a real conversation with you, okay? Just so that you understand and we don't have to ever have this conversation ever again, okay? I can't join the military. And she's like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Aren't you patriotic? Don't you look? I said, Mom, ain't got nothing to do with that. But I promise you, I'm the worst person to ever be in the military. It's like, what do you mean? I said, let me explain it to you. I'm one of two. I'm your son, Mom. You know this. You know, and what I'm about to tell you should not come as a surprise to you. I said, but if I join the military, I'm one of two people. Okay. I am either A, the dude who like becomes war and wears the ears of his slain enemies as a necklace, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm that guy who sits in the dark, right, and just comes out of the shadow to be like, let's go, right? Like I'm that guy who never escapes war, right? I'm perpetually Rambo. Like my whole life is just one giant battlefield, and you know what I mean? That's it, right? So I'm him, and I don't think you want me to be him, right? Or I'm the dude that when my commanding officer tells me we going over here to do this, I'm be like, you know what? I don't know, player. Like, like why though? Why are we doing this though? For real? I ain't seen no weapons of mass destruction. So I really need y'all to explain to me why we're here doing this. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of them two guys, right? Like I'm not in the middle. Like, you know what I'm saying? I question too much. Or I'm just all in like, yo, let's kill everybody and let God sort them out, right? Like, we just keep murking everybody and let God sort them out, son, because that's what's up. I'm war all day, son, every day.
Thank you for not joining. As a 24-year Army veteran, thank you for not joining. Thank you for paying your taxes.
You know what I mean? Hey, but I got mad respect for people who serve. I do. I got mad respect for people who serve. I wish I could have, but I just know me, man.
What makes you think you're gonna be wearing the ears around the necklace, man?
Because that's who I am. I'm that guy, right? Because for those of you who don't know the reference, there was a movie called Dead Presidents, right?
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know the reference, and there was a guy in the movie that's what happened. And I remember watching that movie, right? Because the way my brain works is I think in pictures. I call it watching a movie, right? So if you explain something to me, I'm watching it in my head, right? I'm super visual. So I'm watching that. You have to imagine this. When this came out, I'm watching that and I'm fantasizing like, yeah, that would be me. Yeah. Right? Because I feel like that dude is, and maybe the psychology of it is he does that because he is scared, right? If you want to get deep, but I'm like, that dude's never scared, right? He saves everyone around him because he walks into bullets and chews on them, right? And like, he just like, you know, that's the dude that never dies, right? Like that dude, for whatever reason, like he don't never get shot. He don't, you know what I mean? Like he could walk into an ambush of 100 enemy soldiers and somehow come out having murked everybody with like 2 toothpicks. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and so I just like, I fell in love. I was like, oh my God, like I want to be that guy right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? And come out and be like decorated, but I don't even care about all of these awards because I just want to go in and do what I was built to do. I'm built for this. You know what I'm saying?
Again,
I'm just weird that way. I'm a weirdo.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Or like I said, if I get a command, I'll be like, look, player, come on, man, for real. This is political. This ain't even a military move. This political. Who did this guy piss off that we going in here and blowing up this village, man? Come on, man. I don't even know these guys. I don't even know nobody in here. Ain't nobody. I pull up Muhammad Ali. Ain't nobody in here call me the N-word. So
you want to go to a break before we get started?
Yeah, man. So this Revolution Radio Show, man. We gonna pay some bills and we'll be back in just a minute.
Gosh.
Exotics Wellness. From massage oils to bath bombs, from drops to pain bombs, everything you need in exotic CBD wellness. Go to www.queenexotics.com. That's www.queenexotics.com or Queen Exotics on Instagram.
Do you have a business that requires heavily upon your clientele base having access to cash, like a dispensary or a barbershop? Or maybe you're in the market for one of the new cutting-edge Bitcoin ATMs or self-serve kiosks. Whatever your ATM needs, reach out to my man Guy, the ATM Guy, at 855-4ATM-GUY. That's 855-4ATM-GUY, or online at www.atmguy.net.
Without even lifting a finger, achieve the body of your dreams. You're perfect the way that you are, but if you've been struggling to tone up and love your body, there's something that can help you get there. Put down the box of chocolates and pick up a wrap. No, not that kind. A wrap that you can wear. That's a Gym in a Box. The Core Wrap, the best body shaper anywhere. It features ultimate performance technology, Tone Up 15 to firm tone and strengthen your abs as it shapes your waist. That's Gym in a Box. Go to gyminabox.la to get yours now. That's gyminabox.la because you deserve your dream body.
Hey, welcome back to the Revolution Radio Show on 102.3 FM. I don't know what we're talking about because I have issues.
You was talking about paying taxes. That's what you was talking about.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out how my former president didn't pay none, because I'd appreciate not having to pay any either.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. I wasn't supposed to say that. My bad. So I was saluting the military because for those of you who missed it, I was saying how I would have been the greatest military person ever.
Greatest.
You know what I mean? Hey, I'm that guy. You know what I mean? And so, but we have someone here, thank God, who was a real 24-year military vet who served his country with honor and with pride. And, you know, and so I'm gonna let him take over because I'll probably say something really inappropriate and ridiculous. Y'all ain't surprised by that, because if you've been listening to the show, that's kind of the block I live on. So
yeah. Well, again, man, thank you for the Revolution Radio Show, man. And again, for me, these topics are very important if we're gonna help people have some fun, but at the same time, man, you know, learn and start to think for themselves in these topics, right? So as we started off on Monday, I brought up objectification, and we started with the family. So you and I engaged in those kind of dialogues, and so I kind of set the tone there. But I'll reiterate the definition of objectification. But today I'm going to talk about what it looks like being in the military, but also for athletes and even the fans of sports. So again, objectification is the action of degrading someone to the status of a mere object. And as we talked about with family members or in our families, what it looks like as young children, but as a veteran, to tell you, the military, they're probably one of the greatest at objectification, because it takes that malleable 17, 18-year-old mind,
right, and
creates it to this mean Marine fighting machine or whatever branch of service that you join.
Which goes back to my point of this is the tame, refined me. Imagine me at 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
with real dog tags on, huh?
Yeah. And putting a gun in my hand. Like, yo, we must become war.
So these are empirical truths. You can Google it if you want to, research it. I'm just asking you to look in your own life and see what this looks like. So as a veteran, you know, when I joined the service at 19, again, I had no clue. My uncle was in the Air Force. He brought it to me like, what are you going to do when you graduate? I don't know. He's like, you should join the military, go part-time. If you like it, go full-time. I did. I went part-time and I enjoyed it. I went full-time.
So you were, excuse me, you were reserves first?
Yeah, I was National Guard first, and then I went full-time.
What would you say is the difference in the experience?
The National Guard, they're considered citizen soldiers. So you have a regular job, and you have the military. So you do your 2 weeks out of the year, you do your 1 week a month training. The mindset is still the same, but you have to be able to maneuver your regular life, but also that military career at the same time. You got to find that balance. So it is a little bit, when you look at the National Guard versus like the actual active duty personnel, I would say the National Guard, they're actually more unique because you have to manage both your lives. And in military, you go to do your one job and that's it. But as a National Guardsman, you got to be able to have your citizens. You're a citizen, but you're also put on that uniform once a month or twice a year. And you also get deployed if your unit gets activated to go to war as well. So it's a little bit different.
Did you
dynamic.
ever do? I mean, I know you did a deployment, but did you ever do any as far as like boots on the ground? Stuff that I guess we would know of in this generation, like in Afghanistan, Bosnia, Iraq, any of that stuff?
Yeah, no, I was either fortunate or missed out because I actually trained our soldiers and Iraqi soldiers together because in 2003 they started doing the roadside bombs against the supplies and the mechanics. So I don't know if you remember when there was some mechanics that got killed, right? Yeah. So they brought us in to train those soldiers with some Iraqi soldiers so we can teach them how to maneuver. So that was my contribution to that part.
Where did you do that at?
That was out in the desert, Irwin.
Oh, is that the one
by Vegas?
Okay, yeah. I call it the Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, over there.
You have to go way back into the
way back in there.
My nephew was stationed out there.
Yeah,
and I remember we went to go visit him one time, and I was like, man, I don't know where this dude is. This ain't nobody out here.
Yeah,
and then you kind of come over, and all of a sudden, like it's not really a hill, but just open. I was like, what?
Yeah. So that's where we was at doing that. So that was my contribution.
Wow.
To that.
Did
war.
They have? Because I know one time I was. It's the weirdest accident. I have the dumbest stories on the planet, but long story short, I was driving Uber, and somehow my navigation took me into Camp Pendleton.
Oh, wow.
And the young dude at the gate, because I was like, yo, and he just wove me in. And I was like, oh, wow. So it kept putting me, I didn't know, I couldn't do a bust a U-turn once I was in, you know what I mean? So I just was following my navigation, and it took me back into the spot where it looked like Iraq, like a village. You know what I mean? Like I called my brother, right? Because I know my brother was at Pendleton, right? And he knows it. Like by me explaining it to him, he was telling me exactly where I was at, right? I was like, oh my God. I was like, yo. And then all of a sudden, a tank just drove over the street in front. I was like, yo, man, what I do? He was like, first of all, just get out of there. I was like, what do you mean get out of there as quick as possible? He's like, you're not supposed to be there, right? I was like, I don't know. I'm just following the navigation. He said, just drive. He said, drive. Just don't look like you're not supposed to be there. I'm like, how do I look like I'm not supposed to be here? He's like, well, don't be looking like you shocked that you see, because they were doing the exercises, as far as like live round or whatever you call it, and then like it came through where there was like a gazillion helicopters, and what he explained to me later is that I guess it's the size of Rhode Island back there. Like no one knows that Pendleton is actually like the size of Rhode Island. So like a giant supply ship flew over me, like at low altitude, you know what I mean? And like all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. It finally took me to the backside of Pendleton and threw me out by like Pachanga on that end, right? Because I was on the 5, and I ended up on the 15. So just kind of show you.
So it took you through Camp Pendleton.
It took me through Camp Pendleton, but the craziest part to me was that whole area that like I drove through Iraq. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was a village in Iraq. And I'm like,
so the whole point of that is because, you train how you're going to fight. So those trainings you treat that like real life, right? You treat that's like muscle memory. Like this is how you going to train. This is how you don't play. So again, with me at 19 and getting in that environment, those things that they taught me, I took to life. Like you teaching me how to survive, right? And so when my brain clicked over from that civilian, 19-year-old kid to this Army soldier, it was like one night my brain just clicked over, and it's never clicked back. And so the point of the objectification is the military does it so well that the malleable brain of a young child or a young teenager teaches you that is no longer a person, that is now a terrorist.
So that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
But go ahead and finish your point.
So that's objectification. That's objectification at its finest, that you can take a person and then train them to objectify another human being, to label them as a terrorist, and now kill them with no thoughts.
Right. Because
They think.
and that's what, because my brother came back with severe PTSD, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know, and you know, he's a lot better now. He's gone through several years of therapy and you know, at the VA and everything. But I just remember him initially for years, part of like, even for us trying to, like, our relationship suffered
Mm-hmm.
because with him, there was no gray areas. Everything was black and white, period. This is the Marine way of doing it, and anything else just is garbage, right? And so I remember it was, you know, so that's making sense to me that you saying that, because there was no wiggle room for him, right? So like, they, quote unquote, they were all that, period. And I'm like, well, no, like, no, they is all that. You feel me? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what they you put in there. None of us are, you know, even if it's an overwhelming majority or whatever, it's still not all, right? And typically it's not the overwhelming majority, right? Like, let's go down the list. Not all white people are racist. Not all black people are thugs and whatever else. Not all Mexicans, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And so, but he was just unmoving. Like, he would not budge at all. Like, to even give it, you know, like, I'm like, what about like the kids, like the 5-year-olds? He was like, they just don't know it yet. Like, dog, they're 5 years old.
But you can imagine, right? So now you can imagine your brother, but now go look back at people's parents who were World War II, who were in Vietnam, who they didn't have these kind of, they called it shell shock back then. They didn't have these diagnoses. They didn't have treatment. They self-medicated to deal with those memories and those sounds. So the 21st century just started managing PTSD and giving it a label, right? But it's been going on for years. And so the issue of it is, once your brain clicks from that civilian to that military status, and then you're trained to now be able to kill terrorists, your brain objectifies. And we've, like I said, in the family version, we were talking about, we already taught to how to objectify, but now imagine now you're in the military and it's enhanced.
Right. Because you're talking literally life and death. Literally.
Oh yeah, literally like.
So let me ask you this. And I know we don't have all the answers, but so potentially would maybe the balance of kind of what the reserves do help to curb that a little bit, because you're forced to kind of interact? No.
There you can ask just about any military veteran, because I have a show called Trench Talk, and I interview veterans since I've been retired. You can ask just about any veteran. They can tell you at what point of that military service where that brain was no longer clicked over, right? And so we say they teach us how to turn it on, but not turn it off.
And I've heard that so many times that, like, is it possible to, you know, because I get, here's what I say, and again, my biggest reference is my brother, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's been turned off. I think it's just been like muted a little bit. But I don't think it's been like, he's way better. He's calm now. He like, you know what I mean? Like, me and him can have conversation, even disagreements, and it's not a big thing, right? Yeah. But I can see that thing is there. Like, if he needed to flip that switch.
Yeah, it never goes away. And the best thing that we've been learning to do is manage it. Right. So, and depending on everybody's different. So you have to look at the person's background, how they grew up, why they joined the military. Like, everybody's got their reasons why they joined the service. For me, it was my identity. As a man, we already have identity crisis. So for me, my identity was trapped in my camouflage. So when my career came over to, when I had to get medical retired, my career was over. My life was over, because I was Sergeant First Class.
Right. So that's where a lot of the depression comes in, with a lot of guys, and because isn't it every 21 minutes? Isn't it the statistic?
22. It's more than 22 a day. They say 22 a day veterans commit suicide.
Wow.
But we know that those numbers are more for our brothers and sisters. But at the same time, so again, everybody has their version of what they're dealing with. And so depending on what you're dealing with is what kind of work or mental health programs that you need to start to. And what I had to do was I had to figure out what was next, because again, for me, it was my identity.
And you know what? It's funny you say that, man, because I've always been a firm believer that even like outside of just in general in life, right? And I guess the thing I can most speak to is the entertainment industry, because that's where I've spent most of my life, is that when, you know, I always give the analogy that everyone has, and some people's moments are bigger than others, but everyone has their 15 minutes or what I call their thriller moment, right? The biggest moment of your career. And, you know, again, for some it's bigger than others, whatever the case is. But once that's gone, people don't know how to cope, right? Because their entire identity was tied up in this thing, right? And just the importance of knowing who you are outside of labels and titles, right? And positions.
That's the objectification.
Right.
So the second part of this conversation was going to be athletes. So we've talked about family, military. So athletes and veterans are very similar because, first of all, we were all youth in our neighborhoods. Some of us went to go play sports. Some of us went to go to in the military. Imagine being a child who started playing football at 5 years old, and you've made it all the way to your professional career as an NFL player, and then you retire from the NFL, and then you go home and take a deep breath and like, oh man,
now what?
And you've never dealt with the divorce. You never dealt with your grandparents passing away. You never dealt with the breakup of the girlfriend or the wife. You've never dealt with certain things as a child. You the quarterback. You're either gonna go play or you're gonna go cry in the corner. Oh, you need to get out there and go play, throw these passes. So you've never imagine not being able to really mentally deal with your life stressors, and now your career is over. And you see what happened to Junior Seau, which I hate is one of the examples of excellent, great career, great human being, and he shoots himself because his career is there's nothing left.
Yeah, like no, I definitely get the correlation, man. You know, and that's why I always teach all the time. Like you must know who you are, independent of anything around you. And so I've never heard it from your perspective, but you're actually saying the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I never thought about it from the perspective of objectification, you know, but I tell people all the time, like, look, no matter what it is you do, it's what you do. It's not who you are. Right. And when you can decipher those two things, the amount of peace you'll have is mind blowing, because your value is never tied to something that you really don't have control over. Right. Because I say all the time, control is an illusion, right? Like it's the biggest illusion ever told to us. Like we have zero control. And the sooner you figure that out, you can really start to put things in perspective and go, you know, I may not be able to, because like you said, whether it be sports or the military, it can end way before you thought, without your permission, without your say so.
And this is why mental health is important. Right, because there is a conversation in the world called the future of uncertainty. The future of uncertainty is where you live so far in the future that you can't control it. So that's where anxiety comes from, is the future of uncertainty. So imagine, like you're saying, you're an athlete or veteran, and your career is coming to an end, whether it's not by choice, especially if it's not by choice. Like myself, I wasn't trying to get out. I had a plan. However, my medical issues triggered my retirement, and again, my identity was there. So through prayer and work and people who saw me and looked out for me and introduced me to some education, and I know my mom's and dad's prayers, you know, I was able to interrupt that suicide because it was over, but I had to discover what was next. And what I found was next was that same inherited gene that got me kicked out of the service.
Right. Wow. Well, no, it's beautiful, man. Because I think, and you brought up something really poignant using the military, but I think just for every regular person, like this can apply, really finding your purpose in life, finding who you are, because I think so many people, when we're busy, right, like working, doing it's easy to just ignore. You know what I mean? I'm depressed, I'm angry, I'm this, I'm disappointed, I'm let down, but you have to go to work, so you just keep, but when those quiet moments come
and the real you shows up,
that's when the real test, and that's where so many people get surprised, because they, you always hear like, well, man, they seem so happy, or I would have never thought, because very early in life, we learn how to wear masks.
Yeah. We pretend really well. And the last piece of that sports piece is for people who are sports fans. Objectification with sports fans is to the point where if you put on a Laker jersey and you put on a Clipper jersey, you're no longer a person. I can now talk to you and objectify you based off of the jersey you're wearing, which you have seen people kill each other in arenas because of a team jersey. That is a layer of objectification, because I can talk to you because you got that Clipper jersey on, and I could want to kill you because you're talking about my team. That is a level of what objectification looks like, even in the sports fan world.
And it's crazier in the sports fan world, I think, because you're not on the team.
Exactly.
You ain't getting paid for this. You know what I mean? Like, and it's
like they own the team, like they the owner of it. Yeah, bro. But that again, when you start to pull off these layers, identity, we find our identity in a lot of different things, man. And some people could tell you everything about a quarterback from his high school stats, and don't know nothing about his own family.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I know a guy like that. He knows stats from like 1920.
And it's not right or wrong or good or bad.
Yeah.
It's the fact that identity is trapped sometimes in team sports, man. And objectification.
Team sports is the biggest religion on the planet.
Right.
Like when they named the world's largest, when they named the largest religions, they never named, and I'm like, y'all wrong, man. It's team sports is the biggest religion on the planet, because I've seen fans do what supposedly committed religious people won't do for their belief system, right? And like fans, it's insane to me, dude, the amount of ownership. I'll give you one example, right? I know a gentleman legit was such a big Raider fan that I'll give you a couple of the small things he did. Drove around in a gray and black van with a Raider emblem on it. That's a small thing. You know what I mean?
Small, yes.
Wore a Raider jersey every day of his life. That's a small thing. You know what I mean? He named his baby Raider.
Yeah.
But I don't know how his wife went with it, but like legit legally, his son's name is Raider.
Wow.
Like it's not even a good name. Like maybe it's a call him, like make it his nickname.
Oh, yeah, nickname.
But you put on his birth certificate Raider. This dude missed funerals because of Raider games, missed birthday, like nothing on the planet Earth.
That's not healthy.
I was like, are you on payroll? Like
that's not healthy.
You know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to understand. Like, are they paying you?
Was he a football player at least? Did he have
like in junior high?
Oh wow.
You feel me? Like he's in his 50s. Like in junior high, he played like one season and wasn't even good. You know what I mean? He's that guy. You feel me?
Wow.
Like he's not in shape. You know what I mean? Would have never even made the high school team.
But diehard Raider fan
to the death, man. Like if you wanted to start a fight, all you had to do is walk past and be like, "Yo, Raiders suck. This dude's fighting you. Don't care who you are. You could be Debo. You know what I'm saying? He might get stomped out, but he letting you know I'm getting stomped out for the Raiders." And I've never understood that type of, like, again, it goes back to my whole military thing. Like, I'm not that.
Yeah, something happened. He was at one of the games or something, and maybe he caught a pass that went out of bounds or something. I mean, who knows what drew him to the Raiders? I don't know. That would be an interesting conversation, though.
Yeah, like, and it just is fascinating to me how people can, well, because, and I say this all the time, and I, but people by nature are inherently religious, right? Like, we just switch whatever our religions are based on, whatever you're into, right? Like, people who like are what we call clubbers, who like, that's their church, like that's what they do, like they're in that, they live for that, right? People, there's the whole poetry crew that they, what I mean, that's their, that's their thing, you know what I mean? Like, Republicans, like that's a religion, or let me not pick on Republicans. People who are into politics. Yeah. Politics are their religion, right? I'm not just going to pick on one. Both sides.
Strong belief.
Yeah. Politics is their religion. You know what I mean? Because we're inherent by nature. We want to believe in something bigger than us.
Well, that's that spirit. Like for me, that's what you're saying is that's that spiritual being is going to look for something to attach itself to, whether it's tarot cards, like you say, or a group, a cult. Like you can break it down to all those different variables, but at the end of the day, as for me, that's what it looks like. And so you have to be able to. How do you communicate with somebody who talks to you from those filters? You can't dialogue with somebody like that.
Yeah, that's why I should have never joined the military.
So again, thank you for paying your taxes.
But I think beyond all that, I guess the good news is this, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you identify things, and I think you can agree with this, once you identify what your lack is, whatever it is, right? Whether it is feeling that your life isn't anything because you just lost this career or whatever it is, you can find yourself, because the truth is that we are what is the value in life, right? Like, you and I happen to be people of faith, right? And as people of faith, I believe that I was literally born for a reason. And the reason is deeper than a job or a profession or, you know what I mean? But even if you're not a person of faith, right? If you just believe in science and and not that science and faith don't go hand in hand, but if you just believe in, Darwinistic evolution, well, then understand this. Here's the facts, is that no matter what you believe, like if you understand the mathematics of life and what it took for life to exist, like what it took for you to come from a sperm in the millions of sperm that were fighting for existence.
500,000, and you the one that you already made it.
It depends on how many times your dad tried to get at your mom.
Well, see, there you go.
So, I'm not trying, but some might have got wasted. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother conversation. Some people are like, what?
Let me drop this before we go, because it is Mental Health Awareness Month, I believe, right?
Yeah, it is.
So this is one of the presentations that shouts out to my buddy Derek Bush, who is a retired. I hang out with Marines. He's a retired Marine. And he cares about.
So you hang out with psychopaths?
Well, two peas in a pod.
I tell my brother all Marines are psychopaths.
So we have this presentation that we do. We speak to soldiers and in schools and stuff, and it is pretty much the development of suicide triangle. That's where it goes, right? So what happens is there's elements for a fire. As you can hear the fire trucks in the background, so it's perfect. So the elements for a fire is flame, oxygen, and fuel. That's what creates a fire. It takes those three elements to have a fire.
Right.
If you remove one of those, there's no fire happening. In suicide, there's three elements that have to come together, which is the intensity or the wish to die, the degree of the planning, and the kind or amount of distress the person is in. If you get those three together, that person is the next phase is to take action. So by removing one of those elements in your life mindset, subconscious mind, and what we teach veterans is find out what's next. Yes, you had that great Army career. Yes, you have this group of people you're connected to, but there's something bigger in life that you can connect to, which could be a community of people. Maybe there's some story you want to tell about your life. And that is enough sometimes to get that person the willingness to live And that's what I had to find. What was my next in life, which again was my inherited gene, that I found a whole nother community of people that I could be a part of that was dealing with stuff that I was dealing with.
Right.
So what you're saying is definitely we're born for a reason if you believe that we're born for a purpose. And you're already born with it in you. You're already born equipped with it.
Well, and like I said, even if you don't believe that you're born for a purpose, the mathematics say that you were special. Like literally, just the math of it alone says that, like, yo, you being here means something. It does. It means something. And so I hate this goes by so fast. But I've said this before, and and I just want to remind you guys, it being that it is Mental Health Awareness Month. Number one, it's a saying that is, I definitely don't want it to become cliche, but it is okay to not be okay. I'm glad that we live in a day and age that finally we're starting to recognize that there's not a shame in having mental health issues, right? There's no shame in admitting that maybe you deal with depression or certain things. There's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, there's more help than there ever has been in the history of the world. If you need it, it's available all over the place. And so I just want to take a moment to encourage, if anyone is dealing with mental health issues, seek help. I can definitively say with full confidence, it is out there. It's at your fingertips reach. And there's everything from super, hoity-toity expensive places to places that are really great that don't cost you a penny, right? And everything in between. And so you can definitely find help if you want it. And I want to encourage you.
And it works. It is so, I'm telling you, it's so freeing to be able to peel off some of those layers and realize that you're not the only one dealing with some of these life issues. You are not by yourself.
No, not at all.
It's a human flaw.
You've dealt with it. I've dealt with mental health issues. I've dealt with depression. I like to say that I'm a suicide survivor. And I'm grateful for that. And so, know that, and you could live an amazing life after you've, kind of experienced these things. The only thing that there is no coming back from is death. And so,
for real,
that one's final. So, again, I just want to encourage you. And if you know someone who you even think, just it doesn't hurt to ask, like, hey,
pay attention to the signs, because I had a soldier commit suicide and his family just thought he was crying wolf until the actual day he did it. So you have to pay attention to those signs. You have to.
And ask the people around you, like, yo, are you good? Like, in a genuine fashion, like, hey, I'm not trying to get in your business. I'm not, but just, I care about you. I'm your friend or your sibling or whatever the relationship is. And I just wanted to know, you're okay. And you don't have to tell me, but just know that I'm here. And I may not know what to say, but I'm willing to just listen, because you don't have to. That's another thing. People feel like, I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Sometimes just listening is enough.
Yeah. Or just being there in the room quietly.
Yeah.
That's valuable.
Yeah.
But it is a Revolution Radio show, man. And that's what we get to do, man. We get to have some fun, and sometimes you got to go deep, like the Mines of Minota.
Hey, we're going to make it do what it do, but I can't believe it's that time. We wrapping up, so thank you for those of you who tune in, continue to do so. We got this summer, we're going to have a lot of fun. I know pretty soon here, we're going to start having some tickets to give away to events, right? Because the world's opening up, ladies and gentlemen. Have I mentioned that I'm fully vaccinated?
Me too.
We better than all of y'all. No. Shout out, just love y'all, man. Shout out if you vaccinated, cool. If you're not, cool, it's all good. But let's get back to, I'm anxious. I know all of us are. We really want to get back to normal, or whatever normal's going to be.
Whatever that's going to settle down to be, for sure.
But we I know that we all want to get out. We want to enjoy our family and our friends, and just the things that us spoiled, especially us spoiled Americans, do. I know that last year, 4th of July, even though I'm not a big I don't really celebrate 4th of July. I celebrate Juneteenth. But that's a deeper conversation and trust we're gonna have that conversation.
We got to. I speak on Juneteenth. What you talk about?
Yeah, okay. We're gonna definitely have that. But I know that it sucks for a lot of people to not really be able to celebrate last year. So I know this year people are looking forward to the barbecues and all that kind of stuff. So with that being said, we're about out of here. So on behalf of my man Ferran the Statesman, I'm your boy J Love, aka Uncle Jiggy, reminding you, reach for your best. Reach for success, But most of all, reach for God, because God is love and love is everything, man. We hope y'all are blessed, man. Y'all have a beautiful evening. We look forward to seeing you mañana.
Mañana.
We are out.
Oh my.